my kid is really afraid of a lot of things that I don't want him to be afraid of. And I don't know what I've been doing hasn't worked. What do I need to do to encourage my child or children to try?
Welcome to Parents Talk, the podcast for parents who want to raise confident, resilient kids and build strong self-esteem. Hosted by Francine Juhlin, aka Princess Francy, and founder of the Confidence Club for Kids. Each episode gives you actionable parenting tips, tools, and strategies to help your children thrive, break the cycle of negative childhood programming, and grow into self-assured, empowered adults. Let's get started.
It's so interesting because Dinosaur Brains, and I guess I'll hold her up. Dinosaur Brains, the impetus was I was at a conference and someone was talking about the amygdala, and I always do this with my clients and my nieces and nephew. My nieces hate it. They're always like, "Why do you always do this?" But if this is your brain, this is the thinking part of your brain. This, if you open it up, is the reptilian part, the amygdala, the brain stem, and it's all about sort of reactive learning and keeping you safe. And so she sees everything as a threat. The thinking part, the frontal cortex and prefrontal cortex, is the logical. And so someone was talking about this at a conference, and they just talked about this as the dinosaur brain. And I saw the book just in a way that made sense to me, because brain chemistry, you got to break it down for me. It doesn't compute. And I went up to her and I said, you should write this as a children's book. And I gave her the whole thing. And she said, you should write this. And it scared the mess out of me. Now, I'd always wanted to be a writer. When I was growing up, I thought, oh, I want to be a writer, but I didn't know anyone. I didn't see anyone who had done it. And so my dinosaur brain, which says, this is dangerous, it'll kill you, said, no, trying to write would be awful, because what if it doesn't work? What if you're terrible? It would be embarrassing, and that's tantamount to death. And so no. And that story just kept coming back to me over and over again. I was a chubby kid, chubby adult, right? And so that those messages also, and there are all loads of messages that come to us that are explicit and implicit about what you can and what you can't do, and some of them are malicious. But a lot of it, I think, in the take in Dinosaur Brains is that they're not trying to be mean. They're trying to protect you from embarrassment, protect you from harm, protect you from bullying, whatever it is. And so it's other people's fear coming into play, and they're trying to protect you, and then my own fears trying to protect me, and that's also from the dinosaur. And so when you talk about, Princess Francy and Sparkle Feathers, Francie being an overweight kid, that's the story in Dinosaur Brains. There's a little girl, and uh, I was not an experienced writer, and it's still hard for me to make up names for my characters. But so little Tabby has been told by a kid in school that she can't do what she fantasizes about, which is being an Olympic swimmer. And she can't do it because there are no Black Olympic swimmers and there are no chubby Olympic swimmers. And so she's just devastated. But then her grandfather tells her, that's his dinosaur brain working, and gives a story that she can hold on to in terms of what happened? How did we get dinosaur brains? Do they still actually exist? And the story goes that someone was trying to make up the character's name is Glub. He's a caveman, had wonderful ideas. Everyone loved them. And he was telling the whole community. And when he started talking about this one idea that was really fantastic, a dinosaur comes and takes him away. And the whole community is traumatized. So this is trauma, but it's also fear about the reason why this great man was taken, and that it was because of the ideas. And that so often happens, I think, that our ideas feel like they are so big and bigger than us, and they scare us. And that's why if I just hadn't thought that way, if I just hadn't tried this thing, then I wouldn't have gotten hurt. Then I would have been safe, as opposed to looking at it from a different perspective, right? Like, my ideas don't hurt me. There's risk. And how do we increase risk tolerance, and do that without squashing our dreams and our goals? And so it feels like Princess Francy and little Tabby in Dinosaur Brains are kismet.
Yes, they certainly are. And what I like to teach is all it takes is a change of perspective. Instead
Hmm.
of, oh my God, this is scary, I'm going to get hurt. How
Right,
about what can I learn from the
right.
experience?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's everything bad that happens. I
Yeah.
lost $5,000. Okay, what lesson can I learn to make that $5,000 worth
Back.
losing? Right. So
Mm-hmm.
I am
Mm-hmm.
all for anything that can help children learn how to change perspective,
Mm-hmm.
because children absorb all the energy around them,
Yeah.
whether it's negative or positive. But the more positive we give them to draw from, the less the negative can absorb.
Mhm.
Like that old sponge. Once
Right.
it's saturated, it's not going to absorb more water.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's dried out, oh, those bad thoughts could come in.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And I think that that's true for children, but it's also true for us as adults
Oh,
and as parents, because again, our fears we can transmit to children. The whole epigenetic, I'm fascinated with the transmission of trauma in DNA. And so this epigenetic field of, how do my fears, how do my past experiences influence those of my children and my grandchildren and so on and so forth, and become truth without anyone knowing, well, why. It's like that old story of, why do you cut the end of the pot roast off? And nobody knows why, and turns out it was because 2 generations earlier, grandma's pot was always too small, right? Like, but all of a sudden, that no, that's just how you have to cook. That's how you have to cook it. So yeah, yeah,
and that's the whole point here of parents talk, is
that's
to
what I thought.
break
Hmm.
those generational, I call them
Ideas,
curses,
curses. Hmm.
curses. Because,
Hmm.
and I give a perfect example from my family. My grandmother had anxiety,
Mm.
all kinds of anxiety, to the point that she wouldn't let my mom roller skate. She wouldn't let my mom learn how to swim. She wouldn't let my mom ride a bicycle. Well, when we were growing up, my dad was fearless. So we learned how to do all of that stuff. And then we taught her.
Mhm. 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 Yeah, yeah. That's a great picture. That is dinosaur brains in action, right? Like, no, 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 no. It's too dangerous. You can't do it. It'll hurt you. You'll get in trouble. This will happen. And what it takes is, I think, number one, being able to recognize the message, being able to challenge it, because some things are dangerous. Like, we know walking in the middle of a street, that's dangerous. You don't want to do that. Don't do it. So you got to be able to test some of the hypotheses, and you know, once you recognize it and you've tested it, whether you've tested it directly or you've seen other people do it, um, then being able to tie that up and put it on the side and be like, that's not mine. And also knowing that I can do hard things and I won't break if something happens, right? I can work hard. Because in the story, a chubby black Olympic swimmer, black didn't have anything to do with it. But if you are out of shape, if you don't, then you're not going to be an Olympic swimmer. So it's like testing it and trying and knowing that sometimes failure isn't a bad thing. Like you said, if I lose $5,000, what did I learn? Maybe I didn't get what I thought I was gonna get for that
Bingo.
$5,000, but I
Bingo.
got something else.
It would have cost me $10,000 to join a
Is that
coaching program to learn
right?
what I learned.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
that change of perspective.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Or maybe I met somebody who's going to be influential in my life in a completely different way that I wouldn't have been in contact with. Who knows? There's a Buddhist story, I think it's called The Farmer. And I keep going back to it recently. The farmer and his son breaks his leg, and the whole village is like, "Oh, you poor thing, your son broke his leg. That's the worst thing that could ever happen." And the farmer says, "Maybe, maybe not." A couple weeks later, the military comes and takes all of the young men into service, but his son doesn't go because his leg is broken. And they're like, "Oh, aren't you fortunate your son wasn't taken because he had that broken leg? It was the best thing that could have ever happened." Maybe, maybe not. And each thing, he didn't hold on too tightly to whether or not it was good or bad. It just happened.
It
And
is.
now how do we keep moving? How do we keep living? And what does that mean? How does that color the situation? So
Yeah, it's like um, way back when I was still living a very unhealthy lifestyle after I came home from Iraq, I started a coaching program for business because I knew I wanted to start a business after I retired. And I signed up with this coach, and I clearly wasn't ready for her style. I clearly did not have the foundation built that I needed because she
right.
teaches people how to go to the next level.
Next level.
But for
Mm-hmm.
some reason, I was drawn to her
Mm,
later, and it was a couple years. I thought she ripped me off. I thought that I paid for something and didn't get anything out of it. Years later, I realized I needed her because her husband gave the mindset coaching is what I
mm,
the
mm-hmm.
mindset aspect of her coaching program, I find myself falling back on now and teaching.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a waste of time. It wasn't a waste of money. She didn't rip me off. She gave me exactly what I needed at that time.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Isn't that funny how life works out that way?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I use dinosaur brains in my counseling work. I only work with adults and with couples. But because I think that adults also get lost in this place of what can't I do? Even more so, it's more like bedrock when you're an adult, when you're a kid, if you can hear it, right? Like, oh no, that's not actually true. I'm scared. Okay, it's not a problem to be scared. Now what do I do with it? That's just my brain trying to tell me how to stay safe because they don't know. It doesn't know everything. This little part is not versed in everything. She sees everything as a risk. So, okay, let me figure out how I can calm her. So kids get that really quickly, I think. Adults have a harder time. And so that's why I love the act of parenting. I think parents grow in healthy relationships. They get a lot of knowledge from their kids if they are open to it and they're able to transmit knowledge.
That reminds me of the nugget of wisdom I got that said, if you talk to the kids, they will bring the parents in, which was the way of telling me I needed to write children's books, but I didn't see it at the time because what is it like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This brain was saying,
No,
children,
no, no.
danger, danger, danger,
Right.
children.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. All those stories. Well, no, you can't do that. How dare you tell somebody about how to parent their children? And how dare? No, no, no. Yeah.
Well, my stories were you don't have any children. Why would anyone listen to you?
Exactly. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I have coached so many adults that I'm breaking the cycle of negative childhood programming because even in public speaking coaching, a lot of the issues we're overcoming to get over a fear of speaking or to bring their speaking up to the next level is
Mm-hmm.
things they were programmed with as a child. Like for me, you'd be such a pretty kid if you just lost some weight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I first started speaking, I had to stand behind a lectern to hide my body.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So as I was coaching one of my public speaking clients, she ended up losing weight because she got over that body image issue and started eating for health rather than to calm
Stuff.
that
Yeah.
brain.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. So you learned from her as she was learning from you, and
It's a
yeah,
cycle.
it
Yeah,
is a cycle. Yeah.
we could learn so much from each other if we just took
Mm-hmm.
the time to change our perspective.
Mm-hmm. 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 And get over the fear of not being the one that knows.
Yes.
Right. That's a big one for me. Like that was growing up, one of the ways that I stood out. Because as you can, that's me right there.
Oh, I
As
thought
a,
that was your
as,
kids.
no, that's me as a baby. But one of those ways was that I was smart, right? I could speak well, and so people would listen. And so my amygdala, I call her Amy, my dinosaur brain told me, if you don't know it already, then that's danger. Then there's no need for you if you're not the smartest one in the room. And so the idea of being able to learn and have beginner's mind where I'm taking information in and processing it and asking questions, and that process of learning felt dangerous to me, right? Because that was my persona. And so being able to recognize when my dinosaur brain is telling me, no, that's dangerous. You can, that'll kill you. That'll kill you right there. And you can't do it. You can't do it. And it's still a work in progress. We all have those things that tell us no. Our dinosaur brain is like, nope, that's gonna be dangerous for you. You better get away from it and act like it's not real. Um, but learning to recognize it and then learning to challenge it is really key.
Yes, the learning to challenge it. I have this fear of heights that came from falling off a horse when I was like 6 years old.
Hmm.
Well, as an aircraft electrician, you got to get up in high places. So, what am
Yeah.
I? And now picture this, I'm a woman in a man's environment back in the early 80s. So, what am I going to say? No, I can't get up there. I'm afraid of heights.
Right.
That
No.
would that would give
Ain't
support to
Yeah.
what we think of women.
Right.
I
Right.
had to get over it. And I
Right.
figured out
Hmm.
like the first time I walked out on the wing of a P-3 aircraft, I literally held on to the jacket of my supervisor as we walked out on the wing.
Hmm.
Well, eventually I got a little braver when I was in learning how to work on the Chinook helicopter. I get up there and I crawl on my hands and knees because I didn't have to worry about losing my balance if I was on my
Hmm.
hands and knees. I learned the
Hmm.
safe places to walk. And then eventually I was walking up there with everyone who wasn't
Yeah.
afraid.
Yeah. 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 But that says to me a lot of courage, but also confidence, right? And that's the other piece that comes with challenging your fears. It's the confidence of like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna look like you do it because you're walking on the wing. I'm gonna crawl. But I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna give you the information that you need. And you can laugh at the way it looks. You can make fun of it that I'm on my hands and knees.
And
I
they
can
did laugh. Let me
go.
tell you, they did
Yeah.
laugh.
And let me laugh along with you. Yeah, I look crazy, but look, I got the information,
Mhm.
right? And that level of confidence, self-confidence that I think comes from naming what's happening and just being able to challenge it. Like, okay, this doesn't mean that. The fact that I'm afraid doesn't mean that I don't have the knowledge or the capability to do it. It just means I may have to do it and look different. Okay. And what's the worst that can happen if I look different? I already look different. I'm a woman. I'm heavy. I'm black. I'm this. I'm that. I already look different from somebody. And now, okay, I've done that, and I've learned how what else can I do? What else can I challenge myself to do? So, um, I'm big on challenging. I challenge myself a lot. Uh, Sometimes I'm good at it, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, that's a challenge. We're not ready for it. We're not ready for it. We're just not gonna do it.
Jumping from a perfectly good airplane. I don't understand it. No. Yes, I'm afraid of heights, but I still would
Don't need to
overcome
jump.
that if I felt it was necessary.
Necessary. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm terribly afraid of rodents. And someone said you should do exposure therapy for that. I was like,
Wow.
why? I just don't need to be around rodents. And I think that that's okay.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I guess
agree.
that's true. I guess that's true. But it
Pick
gives
your
you
battles.
agency. Yeah,
Pick your
yeah,
battle.
yeah, yeah.
And that's a good advice, a good parenting hack. Pick your battles.
Your
If
battles.
your child is seriously afraid, don't force it because that's going to put up all kinds of barriers in the future. They
Hmm.
have to
Hmm.
want to
Yeah,
overcome that and encourage.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, because then comes that word that I always hear, which is should.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, um, yeah. Why should I? Why should I be not afraid of rodents? Why should I want to jump out of an airplane? Why should I want to pick up a lanternfly when they scare the bejeebus out of me? Why should I do that? Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. There's a phrase that says, your gifts will make room for you. I think that's how it goes. And it's just sort of like, focus on what you do have, and there'll be a space for you. Is it going to be the same space that somebody else has? No, but these are your gifts, and they're making room for you to live in them. So, yeah, good.
That is another great tip for parents.
Mm-hmm.
Your child has their superpower, what makes them unique and special.
Mm-hmm.
Find what that is and do more of it because that's
Yeah.
what will bring them joy.
Joy. Yeah, 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 yeah. And that joy piece is key, right? Like not everything has to be a career, not everything has to be something that you shine at, but what brings you joy?
I and that's what when it came time to retire, that's what I decided that if I was having fun doing it, then
Hmm.
even if I didn't make money, that would be okay. But I have found since I'm having fun doing it, I do more of it and the money is following.
Mm-hmm. Your gifts make room for you.
Right. And what I hate hearing is I wanted to be a teacher, but my parents told me finance would make more money. Or
Yeah,
I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but everyone told me I should
I
go to
had to.
work because it takes two incomes.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
listen to everybody else. They're shooting all over you.
They are shitting on you. It's true. It's true. Well, that was mine. And no one told me I couldn't be a writer. Like my mom is still very, very open. And she's like, well, what do you want to do? You know, she was a trailblazer. Um, but my mind said, okay, I like to write. Go into journalism. Well, when I was studying journalism, I found that I was better at making up stories than reporting stories. And that's not a good journal. So I put it on the back burner and I found different ways to use my skill and found other skills that I also enjoyed. But it came back around, right? Like that was the thing today is the thing that makes me um happy and buoyant. You know, I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm creative. And I can be creative in other aspects of my life, but being able to focus here, doing I love to quilt, dancing, things that are more in that creative realm are the things that really fill my heart. And so, you know, my skills and my gifts are making room for me, and they don't always make room for you in the moment that you think they should, but don't let them go, right?
Yes. There's so many things that I did as a child that, once I joined the Navy, I'm like, okay, I
Can't do that.
put music aside. Well, of course, I play the tuba and I always borrowed my instrument from the school. So I'm no longer a student. I have no instrument to play. Bye bye. And then I loved sewing. And then from turning wrenches for so many years,
Purple.
hands won't
Hmm.
let me do that anymore.
Hmm.
And just one thing after another. Well, I still can't sew. I still don't play music, but I love to dance. Always love to dance. And I am in a performing dance troupe,
Oh, wow. What kind of dance?
belly dancing.
Very good. I love belly dance. I took it for a little while. That's wonderful. Such control. But I think that all of these skills that we're talking about really resonate with me because they're things that I struggle with. I think they're things that all of us struggle with. And they're things because I recognize that I struggle with them, I I write about them. I love that you said you're shooting yourself because that is my favorite praise. And I think kids, when you say it, they're like, oh, ah,
Yeah.
shooting yourself. And recognizing when that's happening, and for parents to be able to be like, I just should all over the situation, all over what you just said, all over what I really want. And so, and giving language to, again, language is so key. Being able to use language that is going to captivate the mind and stick with you and be like, oh, okay, that's what I'm doing. Oh, there your dinosaur brains going at it again. My sister will always tell me, I'll say, oh, no, I can't do that. Nah, she's like, I need you to look at where your dinosaur brain is taking you right now. What exactly? Is that your brain or is that your dinosaur brain? Put on your sparkly glasses. What do you see? I'm like, all right. All right. Do not
Well,
use my words against me. But yes.
sometimes I shouldn't do that is really you saying, I don't want
Want to.
to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
knowing the clear definition between
Of what you're trying
should
to say.
and want
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
very important. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, tip number 3, parents. If your kids say they can't do something, is it because they think they shouldn't because their friends are telling them it's not cool? Or do they not want to do it because they're afraid of doing it? Are they afraid of failing? Are they afraid of disappointing? Are they afraid of being ostracized? Figure out the root cause of why they don't want to do it.
and why you feel that they should, and find different language for that.
And
This is a
sometimes
good skill for you to learn in the future. That's why I'm saying I want you to learn how to wash the dishes or do some laundry or whatever it is, right? That's why you should do it. Because, well, number one, because you are part of the family, but also these are good skills for you to have. And I'm teaching you, right? Language. Yeah.
for the longest time, I did not like math.
Mm,
I was trying to make it through college without taking math. And I was doing really well at that at first. I did all the histories and the English and all of that. And then I went to advanced electronics school in the Navy. They took us from 1 + 1 = 2 to calculus in 2 weeks. What that did for me is I saw a need for math.
mhm.
Until that point, I saw no need to learn something so boring. But when
Right.
I could apply it to
Try it.
something interesting, that's when it
Right.
sparked
Yeah.
something inside of me to say, oh, now I understand why, not that I should learn it, but the
What?
usefulness of math.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
here's where I want to just use a friend's term, Lisa Askew. She's a motivational speaker. And she says the old saying, lead them to water and they're not going to drink. You have to make them thirsty.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. That's how we learn. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes. Yes.
You
And
know?
that's why in my children's program, I do a lot with STEM. I have
Mm-hmm.
20 science videos loaded up in my portal, ready
Mm.
for the kids to explore. And then my next goal is to add science experiments to get the kids interacting and involved in the science and the math. And do you know that I have figured out, or not figured out, but I've witnessed kids don't know how to tell time on an old-fashioned clock. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have a chapter in my portal for kids how to tell time.
Mm-hmm. Smart. Yeah. Yeah. All the old skills, because God forbid it's something that takes us off of the this. I wouldn't know how to get from point A to point B because GPS is my friend. I know how to, well, I used to know how to read a map. I haven't practiced reading a map in a long time. So
Do
I
they
wouldn't even
even
able to mess
sell
up.
maps?
I don't know. I think because they used to sell them at the gas station.
Right?
They have to.
There's got
Maybe
to be
they
an
don't. I
atlas
don't know.
somewhere. Yeah, there's got to
Somewhere,
be an atlas.
somewhere. Maybe from 1983, but so the roads have changed, but I don't know. Uh,
I might just my husband is a big prepper, so we have a little spot in the closet saved for stuff like that. I guess we need to get an atlas to put in there.
you do, because you won't know where you are or where you're going.
Right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. We are wiser, but really dependent. And that idea of how can we build our confidence in our ability to figure things out. And if you're told, or if you tell yourself, nope, you're gonna break it. You're gonna break it. Just put it down. You're gonna break it. And that's gonna be bad. That cuts out that ability to tinker and figure it out and break something so that you can figure out, okay, can I put it back together? Oh, nope, can't put it back together. Now I know, don't touch that piece because that will break it for good. Right? Like that learning, that fear of learning from failure even.
You don't know how many times I do that on airplanes. Following the book, going step by step. And then, ooh, that didn't work right. So you call one of the more experienced people out and they show you what you did wrong. That's learning.
It's learning. It's learning. It's learning.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember a lesson my mom was teaching me. I didn't want to learn at the time. I was in third grade learning how to use a dictionary. And she said, I could tell you how to spell the word, but you need to learn how to look it up yourself. And oh, I was so frustrated. I can't do it. You can do it. And
Hmm.
then she walked me through it. Go do some more homework, come back. How do you spell? I told you, use the dictionary. If parents continue doing things for their kids, they'll never learn how to do it themselves.
Mm-hmm, hmm. Well, because what your mom did sounds like she did it with you.
Yeah.
Oh, and sometimes you got to do it with them over and over again. When you were saying that, I was reminded of a story someone told me. They were like at Sunday school and didn't know how to find them. They said, go to this verse in this chapter in this book. And they go like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And they were told not to use the table of content. Well, why is it there if it's not for me to use? But that shaming of, well, you should already know. Everybody should just intuit where it is and figure it out. No, use all of the tools that are there for you. That means from the more experienced engineer to your mom to a dictionary. Use all of the tools, all of the resources that you can. That's why they're there. And not being afraid to do it. So lesson number, I don't know which lesson we're on.
I think we're on 4 now.
We're on four.
We're on
Yeah,
4. Your turn.
use all of the resources. Encourage using all of the resources and making that the norm, not something that is a sign of weakness that they should already know.
Here's a good time for a plug.
What's that?
If you are enjoying this episode of Parents Talk, please tell your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give me a like or a comment. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know how I can make improvements. And if you like my friend Tabbie Mann, we're going to tell you how to get in touch with her. Tabbie, tell them how they could get in touch with you, find your books.
I am published with Dinosaur Brains under my name Tabitha Renee Mann, and you can get that on Amazon. Just look for Dinosaur Brains by Tabitha Mann, and I'll be right there. I do have a website, but it's actually more for my adult fiction, and that is dorcasrenee.com. So DORCASRENEE.com.
Awesome. Are you on social media? Can we connect with you there?
Facebook. Yep. Yeah. I'll be honest. Okay. So here's where my dinosaur brains kicks in. I'm like, I don't know. All right. I got to figure out Instagram. All right. And so I use my resources, which are my millennial nieces and nephews. So I'm there, but I don't have a huge presence just yet. But Facebook definitely, at Dorcas Renee or Tabbie Mann on Facebook. And you can find me there.
Connect with us. Let's keep this conversation going. And I'd
Definitely.
really like to know what you, my audience, thinks about all this. And should we have Tabby back on? Ask questions and we will follow up with more tips and tricks for raising confident kids on Parents Talk.